The whole thing that the Being You Changing the World book and the class do is they present to you what's true about you in a way that you haven't imagined before. Like, but not in a way that's like, this is true, now take this into your judgment system. It's like, here's something that's true for you beyond a judgment system. Here's something that just is. And it starts to seep into your world where you start to go, oh, and you start to look through different eyes. The whole other thing about this is the eyes you start to look through are yours. It's not about looking through my eyes to get somewhere different. It's about unclouding your own vision and your own awareness of what's possible. "26 years ago, I literally was at a place where I was going to take my own life because I was tired of struggling. This is what actually got me to Access, so I'm really grateful, but it was like I've been doing all the spiritual stuff and all the metaphysical stuff and the psychological stuff and the money-making stuff and the happiness-making stuff and the spiritual stuff and I was doing the stuff, I was doing the work, but I would go to a weekend workshop and feel like I got happy, and by Wednesday of the following week, it felt like everything went away and the universe caved in on my head again. Even after those times where I'm like, this time I really found the answer, and I would think that every time. I'm cute, but not so bright necessarily. And so what happened was I'd gone to a weekend workshop, thought I finally found the answer. Literally Wednesday of the following week, it felt like everything fell apart again. Why? Because I got an experience of something, but I didn't have any tools to back it up in the trenches of life. And I didn't have an experience of living it in my life. I had an experience of living it in the little box of the classroom or the workshop. And so I said, universe, I'm out of here. And that's when I saw an ad for Access Consciousness, literally a week later, and it went, access all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And my response was, fuck you. My life is pain, suffering, and glory. Go away. I am tired of this crap. Anyway, I saw it the following week. I had a session of Access Consciousness bars, and I literally had an experience of my life changing. Now, I'm not saying everybody who gets bars or does Access, we all experience everything differently. We all have our buttons, and we all have our things we're willing to change in the moment and things we're not, and whatever, it doesn't matter. And none of that is relevant to the experience of a class like this, because the beauty of a class like this is even and especially those things that you're fighting to hold on to, as you look from a different perspective, become the fuel to set you and others free. And the space of living beyond needing to go into judgment of you or anyone else for any reason whatsoever. But also it's that space where you start to realize that the dreams that you always had, the dreams that you've had since the time you were a kid, actually are possible to create. And it never shows up the way you think it will. And the other thing is that we've grown up in a world in which people tell you this is real and this is all that exists, and this is real and this is all that exists, and this is real and this is all that exists. And we did our best to buy it. And if you feel really unsuccessful at this reality, it might be because you have the capacity to create a different reality. Something that lives side by side this one, or maybe above it or something, but that is uniquely yours. And that is a gift that you bring to the world. And it is a gift that you bring to the world when you follow that unique voice within. We've been entrained from the moment we're born or conceived, depending on how you want to look at it. We've been entrained to believe in judgment. We've been entrained that there are good choices and bad choices, right choices and wrong choices. We've even been entrained to such a degree that the things that go through our head, we judge. The things we don't even act on or do, we judge those. And it's basically the training that you got for how to live in a reality in which energy and space are linked with matter and time, which they were never meant to be, but somehow here we are. And the other why to this is it's the humanoids of the world, the seekers, the people that desire a different possibility, the people for whom they can't just do the same thing every day and retire and die. The people that know there should be something different, they seem to be most affected by this idea that they're somehow wrong because judgment isn't actually how they function. It's something you have to learn. When you have to learn to be something that you are not as a being, it has a lot of persistence and a lot more intensity in your world. And as a way of sort of illustrating this, it's like you see little kids. Are they judging themselves? No. Are they judging anyone or anything else? No. And then sometime around maybe 7 or 8 years old, there's some event that occurs where they make judgment real. And from that point forward, they're trying to figure out how to live. And it's usually from a friend or somebody they care about, somebody saying something mean to them, and it finally sinks in, whereas before it meant nothing. And it's from that moment where we make judgment meaningful that we start living our lives around it. Because for us, the seekers of the world, us weirdos, the original meaning of weird was of spirit, fate, or destiny. But for us weirdos, we don't understand it, and yet we've just bought into it. And now we're in a world in which we're trying to hold that in place as though it's a reality because everybody seems to be choosing it. We don't understand it. And once again, when you don't understand something, you put a lot of energy on trying to figure it out. And so you're carrying this forward while simultaneously knowing, I don't know, I should be Italian, my hands are, you get the idea. You're carrying that forward while simultaneously knowing something different is possible. And it creates this cognitive dissonance between what you know should be and what you see showing up in so many people's lives. And that cognitive dissonance is where a lot of people function because you can't cognitively get how those two realities can coexist. The reality of your being and other people's beings, and the reality what they're trying to make real and true for them, that they learn from their family, that they learn from society and everybody else. And so here we are, rather confused because cognitive dissonance creates confusion, and then we find ourselves going back and forth from one side to the other. The side where we have a sense of possibilities and miraculousness, which is what you get when you're being you, and then the other side where we're trying to judge everything and get it right, and maybe we miss something if we're not doing the latest fad to try to get the positive judgment from people. And so here we are. But the whole thing about the Being You book and the Being You class is it's about unlocking that in a meaningful way. Not just the thought of it, but the experience of it, the experience of being different. And one of the things I'm so grateful for about the book is as you read through the book, you have the experience of being different. You have all kinds of little invitations along the way, and they each do their own thing. They each open up a different possibility. And after a while, you start to go, wow, okay, maybe, this actually seems rather true. And it's an interesting thing because the whole thing that the Being You Changing the World book and the class do is they present to you what's true about you in a way that you haven't imagined before. Like, but not in a way that's like, this is true, now take this into your judgment system. It's like, here's something that's true for you beyond a judgment system. Here's something that just is. And it starts to seep into your world where you start to go, oh, and you start to look through different eyes. And the whole other thing about this is the eyes you start to look through are yours. It's not about looking through my eyes to get somewhere different. It's about unclouding your own vision and your own awareness of what's possible.